What's going on, you guys? Today we got the 2021 Hyundai Veloster N, and we just got done taking the 2024 Honda Civic Type R to the tail of the Dragon. I have always wanted to see how this car compares to the Type R, and if you should honestly get a Veloster N over a Type R. All right, so under this hood is a 2-liter inline-4 turbo, and Dylan, who's the owner of this car, has done a couple of modifications to this thing, but the only thing under here is gonna be the aftermarket air intake, correct?
Yeah, correct.
All right, so this stock makes around 275 horsepower, 275 pound-feet of torque, and the claim 0 to 60 is 5.5 seconds. Now with the exhaust and the air intake, you're probably looking at an extra, like you said, like 5 or 10 horsepower?
At most, yeah.
Okay, all right. And real quick, let's take a look at all the changes on the actual body of the car with getting the N package. With the N, you get the N badge, you get these very nice orangish reddish accents that go along there. Probably the easiest way to tell if you're looking at an N or not. The entire grille is different as well, right?
For the most part, yeah.
Looks very, very nice. And then you're also gonna have N on your brake calipers, which looks really nice. More of that orangish reddish accent running along the side of the car. And here you're going to have a nice spoiler on basically the roof of your car. That is a very unique placement. In the back, of course, more of the accents there. This exhaust is also going to be aftermarket, and just wait till you guys hear it. It is absolutely insane. Of course, you get the N badge right here, and to open the trunk, just like that, and you get a pretty decent amount of space. I will say, for this car only weighing 3,200 pounds and being this compact, it's as comfortable as you'd like it to be. All right, you guys, now let's go for a drive in this thing. We've teleported to an absolutely awesome road that we just found. And the interior of this thing has a lot of cool things you would never expect from this car. First of all, the N on the seats light up. Got these nice bucket seats with manual controls to save the weight. N right on the door sill. All right, so some of the obvious cool things are N in the gauge cluster, analog gauge cluster, of course. You got N on the steering wheel. You have your drive mode selectors here, or if you just want to skip straight to the insane mode, that's what this checker flag is for. And that's what we'll be driving in today. Nice 6-speed manual. And you also get a lot of information inside of this gauge cluster. I believe there's yeah. This is everything you can adjust. Of course, it does have rev matching through this button right here, which we will turn on because I'm no professional. But all this stuff is adjustable, and yes, it does make a pretty insane difference when driving it. So without further ado, let's see how this thing does. And that is a wonderful start to the video.
Go back in the gauges.
So the Veloster is front-wheel drive, but I take back everything negative I've ever said about front-wheel drive after taking the Type R on the tail of the Dragon, because it just throws you into the corners. And the suspension, it really keeps you locked down into the road. I mean, it feels confident when there's some bumps on the corners. And we got a Camaro SS behind chasing us, but unfortunately he won't be able to keep up with this thing. And those pops, the first time I did one slight acceleration in this thing and heard that, yeah, it actually made me want to buy one of these. That is insane. And if you ever get sick of those pops, which should never happen, or you just want to drive into your neighborhood a little bit more stealthy, click this drive mode button. You immediately hear how much quieter that exhaust gets. Steering wheel loosens up quite a bit. The ride quality is much softer. And let's do a second gear downshift just so you can see. 0 pops. But click this checkered flag. And guys, we've driven quite a few cars on this channel, and this one probably has the most unbelievable adjustable exhaust I have ever been in, and I really do mean that. I mean, as for the speed, you know, it's not gonna like scare you and the passengers, but that's really not the point of this car. And neither, the Type R is not gonna do that either. The point of this is for actual usable power on the roads. And that was my first impression when driving this thing, is like, you can actually hit the red line in first gear, in second gear, and on some roads easily in third gear. And you don't have to be like freaking out about a cop around. I mean, the cop's gonna hear you. He's gonna think you're going 180 miles an hour, but you know, you could just do a run through the gears and be up to 50, and it's a lot of fun actually getting up to speed. So Dylan here, of course, is the owner of this Veloster, and you got this thing. Oh yeah, the rear window. This thing has three windows to roll up. So you got this thing a year ago, right?
Yeah.
And how many miles do you remember when you got it?
I got it at about 33,000.
So you put, okay, almost 20,000 miles on it. Yeah.
This is my daily driver to work and back every single day.
And absolutely no issues with this thing, right?
Not at all, not a single problem.
You know, that is, for those of you that know, of course, I recently got the Maserati Gran Turismo, and if anything breaks on that car, well, you go bankrupt. If anything breaks on this car, it's not going to be that expensive, which is, if I ever sell the Maserati Gran Turismo, I can't believe I'm saying this, but this is actually going to be on the list of cars that I want to purchase. The Type R was up there as well, but the Type R just doesn't even come close to the sound that this thing makes. And I believe we got ourselves another pretty decent road here. Oh my gosh, even with the windows rolled up, that is just insane. All right, let's give it a good cornering test right here and see how it feels. I'm telling you guys that the way that suspension keeps you like so connected to the road, and the front wheel drive just sucks you into the corners. This in the Type R, I've never felt more confident with giving it gas into the corner, and that makes me absolutely love the feeling of front wheel drive. Rear wheel drive, it gets a little sketch, and all wheel drive, of course, is generally superior to most other drivetrains. This is a little bit of a rough road, and considering we are in the N mode, yeah, you feel a lot of the bumps. Now, let's switch it over to normal here and see if it makes much of a difference. Yep, and this immediately becomes a dailyable car. That is unreal. Why, out of everything, when you were like car shopping, is there any other car you were looking at over the Veloster N, like something that was like a competitor to this car that you were considering, or?
So the main car I was looking at, that I was thinking about getting, was the GR86.
Okay.
Which is rear wheel drive, but similar capabilities. And I just thought that I can get a base model GR86 for the same price I can get a fully everything Veloster N. And after hearing the exhaust in person, that I had to go for it.
It was, yeah.
I had to.
I can imagine. And you put this exhaust on the car, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But stock one does pop just as much, just a little bit quieter.
This is so friendly. Beginner. I mean, maybe if you're if you have a lot of experience driving manuals, maybe you want something a little bit more challenging. But this is the easiest thing to hop in and just get going. Everything is very soft, I will say though. The shifter, it really easily slides into gear. The clutch, again, very soft clutch. So that really helps with it being beginner friendly. Personally, with where I'm at with driving manuals, this is, if I were to recommend a beginner to learn on a manual, it's definitely going to have to be this one here. Let's go back into race mode here. It's just that easy. Okay, I will say the 2024 Type R definitely felt more capable in the corners, not by like a lot. but definitely I could throw it in quite a bit more. Let's go ahead and give this guy a little bit of space and then give it another run right here. Not to mention, guys, this thing also has launch control. I mean, there are so many features, and you said this thing was you picked up for 27,000?
Yeah.
For 27,000, with this sound, with how hard this thing can drive, with the features that it has, I mean, yeah, this is honestly genuinely a tempting purchase. Shift lights in there, of course, as well. Oh my gosh. The pops at 5,000 RPM are like borderline deafening. I mean, the fact that they're this loud when you're inside of the car is absolutely insane. So from an owner's perspective, if you had to, I mean, I don't even, for driving this, I can't think of like something I hate about this car. I guess it could be faster. Mm-hmm. Is there anything about this car that you would give any complaints about whatsoever?
Mainly just, it lacks a few luxuries, such as like heated seats, heated and ventilated seats. Interior's a little bit on the cheaper side, a bunch of hard plastics everywhere, but other than that, not really. But I will say, this car came stock with 19-inch wheels and super low profile. And within the first month, I blew a tire hitting a pothole.
Oh.
So everyone recommends to drop down to 18s, which is what's on this map.
Okay. Of course, yeah, you spent obviously a year with this car. Is there what would you tell somebody who's watching this and thinking like, I do want to get one of these cars, but they don't know if they should actually pull the trigger?
So what I've heard from a lot of people is they always hated on these cars until they finally went out and drove one. And a lot of people make the decision that very moment. Either sat passenger in one or drove one. That's the biggest thing. That's where a lot of people make their decisions.
For the sake of time, we'll call it there. Appreciate you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you think about this car. And if you guys have any questions about owning this car, drop them down in the comments. I will send Dylan a text, and I'm sure he'd be happy to give you guys an idea of answering any of your questions.
Oh, yeah.
All right, guys. Appreciate you. Subscribe, like if you enjoyed. And if you're thinking about getting one of these, you're probably making the right choice. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.